Okay, so this is my presentation on Kendrick Lamar, A True Legacy, Biography and Analysis. Starting off, we're just going to start with his early life and career. Growing up, Kendrick Lamar Duckworth grew up in a high crime and neglected city of Compton, California. Not the other Compton. His parents actually left Chicago to move to California because of the growing gang violence going on there. So they had to kind of get out of Dodge before, to raise a child, which I think is pretty cool of them. As a young teenager, around 14, 15 years old, he published three albums under the name of K. Dot, which was his first rapper name. Um, I think I don't like it as much as Kendrick Lamar, but obviously I don't, because his early career started in 2010 when he released his first album as Kendrick Lamar called Overly Dedicated. The album was pretty big actually, and he earned him like some pretty good guest spots with like up and coming rappers at the time. It was popular in the local area, so he was basically like a feature guy until his big break, which is when Top Dog, a record label for R&B and hip hop, released his 2011 album Section 80 on iTunes, which brought his music to the whole country and really the whole world. Anyone who had an iPhone could buy his album, and really got him some huge success. After Section 80, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, a few other ones too, ceremoniously declared Lamar as the new king of the West Coast, which is pretty impressive if you think about it. He kind of came out of nowhere. So we're going to go over some of his most influential albums. So Good Kid, Mad City, one of my favorites, and then my actual favorite, To Pimp a Butterfly. But Good Kid, Mad City, it's an album described as like a short film by Kendrick. It really is good at telling a story. It weaves that coming of age narrative about Kendrick's teenage years in Compton, addressing gang culture, peer pressure, and personal growth. So not just like the negative stuff, but also like the type of epiphanies that like young people can really relate to. Yeah, it paints an authentic picture of inner city life in America. It's sparking discussions about systemic inequalities and urban struggles, like food deserts, police brutality, neglect, appropriation, all those types of things. It also really humanized the experience of the black youth that really helped a lot of younger people, especially like younger white kids, and who don't necessarily live in such a hard area, to like kind of respect and understand what some of their fellow humans go through. And then to talk about The Pimp a Butterfly, which is just an absolutely outstanding album. If you haven't listened to it yet, you should. This album explores themes of systemic racism, black empowerment, self worth, and mental health. This one's more of a type of, I guess, social commentary and a little bit more poignant, which I like because, I'm just like that. Songs like All Right became anthems for Black Lives Matter. It's actually huge for the Black Lives Matter movement. This release coincided with heightened social unrest in the U.S. This is like, yeah, obviously right around the same time as George Floyd and a lot of other police brutality stuff was going on. Yeah, pretty bad time. The album's fearless experimentation influenced artists to push creative boundaries while staying socially engaged. Yeah. It really kind of showed that you could be an activist and a damn good artist at the same time. And I think it's something that Kendrick Lamar really nails is this kind of good middle ground and sometimes less middle ground of being an activist as well as, really killing it on the performances. More than just an artist. Kendrick Lamar is pretty big for the black community as well as all other communities, disenfranchised and I guess just neglected people who, most of America's forgotten about. So for philanthropy, Kendrick has donated millions to Compton organizations. So he likes to, fund his local municipals, which is really cool, including education programs, music studios, and after-school activities to keep kids, off the streets and stuff like that. Provides scholarships for students and funds youth programs to help the generation escape the cycles of poverty and violence. Just some overall really good things that actually do help the community instead of, just, political grandstanding like a lot of our, politicians and other stuff do. Cultural icon. If you don't think Kendrick Lamar is a cultural icon, you're just wrong. Kendrick uses platform to educate audiences about historical and ongoing injustices. For instance, To Pimp a Butterfly is celebrated as a masterpiece of art and activism. He got a Pulitzer Prize for it, which is insane for damn for the which yeah historic, highlighting hip hop's legitimacy as a medium for serious cultural critique. And I think that's something that's really understated with um, Kendrick's music and his message. That he is really more than just a singer and performer. You know, he means what he says. Global fame, you know, or global fame. So this is something that I think a lot of people misunderstand, or at least people in the U.S. That Kendrick isn't just a message of against systemic oppression just for people here in America. A lot of people outside of America do resonate with his message, which is what I kind of said here. His commentary on oppression and resilience strikes a chord with audiences facing inequality worldwide. So really, anyone can pick up Kendrick's torch. It doesn't have to just be Black Lives Matter, even though that is something that he does care about. All right. Now, this is my favorite song from Kendrick Lamar. So I just wanted to talk about, what makes it so influential. All Right is one of Kendrick Lamar's most celebrated tracks, serving as a beacon of hope, resilience, and defiance in the face of systemic oppression. The refrain, "We gonna be all right," offers reassurance and optimism to marginalized communities grappling with the systemic racism, police brutality, and economic equality. The verses acknowledge struggles such as personal pain, societal pressures, and institutional oppression at every level, yet find solace and faith in collective strength. So really kind of pushing the message of yes, things are bad. Yes, we are treated differently and we are discriminated against. Even from the album, you can see it there with the judge with X in his eyes, but like it's not something you should. It's not the thing that defines you. You know, your life, your relationships, and what you choose to do with it is really what defines you as a person, and not just what other people say about you. All Right became an unofficial anthem for Black Lives Matter movement. Protesters across the U.S. chanted its chorus during demonstrations against police brutality and racial injustice. This again ties in with the George Floyd thing and how Kendrick really kind of became a symbol for it. The song's positive, unyielding message empowered communities demanding systemic change. Yeah, this just goes to show how much power music has over society. That this was a fight song for people after some of this atrocious things were coming out that the police were doing, and the nepotism and just absolute lack of oversight that these guys have. All right, his legacy, because after all, it's what it's. He's not dead, what I'm saying like that, but it still has, such influential fame and all that. You could really start seeing the ripples that he's leaving already in some of the other artists that are popping up. My favorite quote from him: "My rights, my wrongs. I write till I'm right with God." I like that one. It shows that, like, I guess it kind of, to me, it kind of means that, even though some of us are, in worse situations and uh, don't live necessarily the same type of privilege as everybody else, that everybody's complicated, and that you can't really say somebody's just good or just evil or things are just bad. Everything's more complicated, and ultimately, I guess if you're religious, it's between you and God. Kendrick Lamar's legacy is defined by his unparalleled ability to merge artistry and activism. Again, really kind of trying to bring this point home that he's not just an artist; he's also an activist and a philanthropist. He's constantly trying to make things better and trying to be the change in the world that he wants to see, which I really think is awesome. Activism and authenticity, positioning him as one of the most influential artists in modern music. His contributions extend far beyond the realm of hip hop, leaving an undeniable mark on society, music, and future generations. Which I think that people will be listening to him for decades, maybe even centuries, just because of like I don't think somebody's really been able to be as powerful with their words as Kendrick Lamar. That's just my opinion, but I really do think that he's changed the face of music across the whole world. But yeah, that's my presentation. I hope you guys liked it. Look forward to hearing to listening to all your guys' stuff. So thank you.